Hello, Peter the Cat here. I've been wanting to dive more into the Garfield expanded universe, stuff that's outside the comics and the TV shows. So I got this book from a used bookstore, Garfield's Great Race. And it's a typical Garfield story. Garfield races a stunt cat in order to impress Arlene. And I noticed something kind of strange about this book because I've got another Garfield book, Garfield's Stupid Cupid, which is a collection of several Valentine's-themed stories. And it also has a story about Garfield racing a stunt cat in order to impress Arlene, like you can see right here. Yeah, so if you've gone to TV tropes, you'll see that Jim Davis recycling comics, that's nothing unusual. He'll sometimes reuse the same gag like a month or years later. This is the first time, though, that I've seen a book get recycled, so let's do the Case of the Recycled Garfield story. I'm going to compare and contrast these two books and see what's similar and different between them. Now, something that kind of confused me at first, Garfield's Stupid Cupid, the copyright date is 1995, while my copy of Garfield's Great Race here, if you open up the title page, you got a modern-looking drawing of Garfield here and a copyright date of 2002, but if you look at the illustrations, it looks like an older art style than what's in Garfield's Stupid Cupid, and I wondered why that is. But it turns out, looking up this book, it was actually originally published in 1989. It's just the reason why it says copyright 2002 is because this is a reprint. So I find that kind of weird, like, they printed this in 1989, and then they remade it in 1995, and then they reprinted this again in 2002. It's kind of weird pausing to do. If you compare the credits of both these books, you'll see that they had the same people working on them. Jim Kraft was the writer both on Garfield's Great Race and on Stupid Cupid, although with Stupid Cupid he was joined by another Garfield author, Mark Acey, and they both had the same artist, Mike Fence. Now, I don't know if Mike Fence is related to Larry Fence, another Garfield artist, but either way, I highly suggest you check out Mike Fence's website because he's a really great artist and he's got a lot of really nice work. And if you compare the art styles of Stupid Cupid and Great Race, yeah, compare that to this. I'll open the book up. You can tell that Mike Fence improved in 6 years. Garfield's Great Race has 11 illustrations in all, while Stupid Cupid only has 3. And I'm going to be comparing these drawings as I go over the text of both books. I'll be color-coding them. Green for when there's word-for-word recycling, yellow for when the writing's similar but kind of changed, and red for when they're completely rewritten. And this is going to be some really advanced, textual analysis I'm doing. I mean, if you've ever read any of Bart Ehrman's books about comparing the 4 Gospels, I'm comparing 2 Garfield books here, and that's even more advanced than what Bart Ehrman does. So let's get started. I'm going to do some editing magic here. There we go. Just shrinking things down. Alright, let's look at the first page of both books. And you'll see that the biggest difference between Garfield's Great Race and Stupid Cupid, Garfield's Great Race has, as Garfield's rival, Arlene's cousin, Duke. And Garfield's Stupid Cupid, on the other hand, changes Duke to Rex, who's a new boyfriend for Arlene. But they both have the same design. You can see they're both black and white cats with sunglasses, and they're both stunt cats. So it's going to be kind of the similar story still. And there is some word-for-word recycling here where Garfield says, oh, I dove into a pile of John's dirty socks. So I guess that's a joke that Jim Kraft must have really liked and decided to reuse. Now here on page 2, while there isn't a lot of word-for-word recycling, they basically follow the same beats. Arlene talks about how great Duke or Rex is, Garfield gets jealous, and then he's challenged to a race. The biggest difference here is that Stupid Cupid adds a couple more insults between Garfield and Rex and adds a joke that Garfield can't remember Rex's name. Honestly, I think it actually makes more sense that Garfield would get really upset at another cat trying to take away Arlene rather than just a family member of Arlene being kind of rude to him. I don't know. I'll combine pages 3 and 4 of Garfield's Great Race here because they're pretty short. And it's basically just more of the same. The same sequence of events, but it's completely rewritten. There's a couple minor changes, like Garfield trying to use a jump rope is changed to him trying to do a pull-up. And Odie is also made to be kinder and gentler to Garfield and not laugh at him. It's just not much word-for-word recycling here, but that's going to change on the next page. Holy moly, look at page 5. That is a lot of green. The only major changes are just rewrites, like Arlene adding that she's confident that Rex is going to win, and Rex just generally being meaner than Duke. Yeah, nothing much to say here, just a lot of word-for-word recycling goes on this page. And that's going to carry over to page 6 also. Yep, a lot more word-for-word recycling. Though the biggest difference here has to do with the illustrations. In Garfield's Great Race, Garfield just bumps his head on a tree branch, while in Stupid Cupid, he gets his mouth caught in a tree branch, and if I compare the illustrations here, Stupid Cupid's drawing, I think, is much funnier. Even though Stupid Cupid has fewer illustrations, Mike Fence still put a lot of effort into them, and they look very nice. Moving on to pages 7 and 8 of Garfield's Great Race, we see that Stupid Cupid doesn't do as much word-for-word recycling in this section as it did with the previous pages. We still have Garfield trying to have Odie pull him, but in Great Race, Garfield holds on to Odie's ears, while in Stupid Cupid, he grabs him by the tail. Now, I don't know how that would work. Like, Odie's tail is really small. That would be really hard to hold on to. But we also have another change. In Great Race, Odie is stopped when he stops to sniff his fire hydrant, and that sends Garfield careening past him. While in Stupid Cupid, Odie's blinded by his own tongue. But funnily enough, the sequence of stuff that Garfield hits, going across the street, hitting a fence, hitting a hedge, and then landing in a mailbox, that's kept completely the same. Now looking at page 9, all of a sudden there's a lot of word-for-word recycling again. Now the only major changes I can see is, in Garfield's Great Race, one of his insults is changed from "you couldn't catch a parked car" to "you're a walking flea resort." And also one of the dog's growls has one less letter in Garfield's Stupid Cupid. I guess they had to save on ink or something. I find it kind of weird, sometimes Garfield's Stupid Cupid will expand on the original story, like Arlene saying, "Oh, I met Rex 2 days ago." And then other times, it just feels like it makes changes for the sake of changes. Who cares what Garfield's insult against the dog is? That's just weird that you had to change that. Now, looking at the illustrations for this page, in Garfield's Great Race, the dog is drooling I don't know what that is, green acid? That's kind of gross. While in Stupid Cupid, it's the same scene, except it looks much nicer. Now, looking at pages 10 and 11 of Garfield's Great Race, we see that the ending to both stories is completely rewritten. In Great Race, we get a brief scene of Duke getting chased up a tree by that dog, while in Stupid Cupid, that scene is completely absent, and we just get Garfield remarking that Rex was chased up a telephone pole. So, a tree versus a telephone pole, that feels like just another change for the sake of changes. And we also have a question Duke asks, "Why is that dog angry at me?" That's given to Arlene instead. And Odie's absent from Stupid Cupid's ending. And we also see that Arlene's demeanor is also different. In Great Race, she's worried about Duke, while in Stupid Cupid, she's just "Oh, I never cared about Rex. I just wanted you to pay more attention to me, Garfield." So that's both books. That was a pretty fun comparison. Let's do some calculations, how much of Great Race is recycled into Stupid Cupid. Alright, I don't have any computer software to do this calculation, but I counted up the words between both stories and how many words were similar between them, and I estimate about 39% of Racing Rex from Garfield's Stupid Cupid is borrowed from Garfield's Great Race. Make of that what you will. Personally, I think Garfield's Stupid Cupid tells the better story, because I just think it makes more sense that Garfield's rival would be another lover trying to take away Arlene, rather than just a family member of Arlene's. And I'm guessing Jim Davis himself really liked this story too, because this is basically the plot of the second direct-to-DVD Garfield movie, Garfield's Fun Fest, where Garfield has to enter a competition with another cat who's threatening to take Arlene away. Tell me in the comments, which story did you grow up with, and which one do you think is the better one? So, is there any explanation for why this story got recycled 6 years later? Well, I don't really know. Although I imagine a scenario like this must have happened.
Mark and I are almost done writing the stories for this new Garfield book. We need one more to fill it out, and our deadline is getting close. I don't know if we have the time to write a new story.
Jimmy, I always liked this one book you wrote a few years ago, Garfield's Great Race, and how you made me outsmart this lousy stunt cat. How about you just reuse this story and replace Arlene's cousin with a new boyfriend so it fits the romance theme?
No one asked your opinion, Garfield. Hey Mark, I got a good idea. How about we just recycle one of these older stories I wrote? Tell Mikey to start some new drawings, and we'll call it a day.
What? Your idea? But it was mine. That's showbiz for you.
Anyway, being a big Garfield enthusiast, it kind of raises the question in my mind, which of these is the canon story? What do you think, Garfield? Is Stupid Cupid supposed to be, a George Lucas special edition remake, or are these, separate universes or something? What? You don't know? Garfield, you're, the best authority I could ask aside from Jim Davis himself. How can you not know? Oh, all he cares is that he got paid in lasagna for both books. Oh well, I guess I'll never figure this mystery out. Anyway, Peter the Cat here. Bye everybody, and tune in next time, because I'm going to do another music review. I'm going to review the latest Wings album by Ringo Starr. It's really enjoyable.